Ekitike is a line breaker. Ekitike is a gentleman who loves to charge into the final third in transition. He's kind of the king of the fast break in NBA style. Slot had won the title by taming the Klopp helter-skelter football. Is Ekitike's arrival almost a sense that Slot himself is evolving and is just going to turn into total cocaine bear?
Well, I think a lot of teams will be looking at PSG effectively and saying that's what they want their front line to look like. You want it to be creative and inventive when you are sort of camped outside the opposition box trying to find a way through. And obviously in Mo Salah, in Ekitike, certainly in Florian Wirtz, they've got players who can do that. But you also need to have that ability to kind of break like thunder effectively, which Liverpool always did and had maybe been lost a little bit because of the way that, Slot wanted a slightly more kind of controlled style. So Ekitike maybe provides a little bit of both. He's also, and this sounds really, really basic, he's also quite tall, which gives Liverpool an aerial threat again, which I think is important. The curious thing to me with Ekitike is Liverpool have watched him for a long time. They were watching him while he was at Reims, a team in France, and they will have watched him for a long time at Frankfurt. It's not the case that they saw that Newcastle were about to sign him and thought, oh, right, we better go. Liverpool was speaking to someone the other day, and they said that the thing with Liverpool in the transfer market is they kind of come out of the blue, that they will register an interest in a player, and then it will all go quiet. There won't be lots of fluttering of the eyelashes, lots of coquettish glances. It just goes completely quiet, and then you'll get a phone call saying, we want him now. And that's Liverpool saying, right, we're going, and we're going fast and strong, and then it's announced. Yeah.
Is it like just click on the line and then the dial tone comes back in, like in
And
the
maybe
movies?
not. It
Him
might
now.
be. It might be like that. To be fair, knowing some of the people involved at Liverpool, that is kind of their style. But I think they've developed this reputation for being very decisive in the transfer market. That once they want someone, that's it. They go and they're done. And in the case of Ekitike, as in the case of plenty of other players, we're seeing increasingly that players will wait for Liverpool. That they will say, right, if there's a chance of Liverpool, then I just want to let's just see that that's not on the table anymore before we go anywhere else. I think the fascinating thing with Ekitike is I don't think he'll be the last striker they sign or the last forward they sign. There is still an expectation that Darwin Núñez will go. There is obviously the tragic situation surrounding Jota, which I'm sure is something that Liverpool will have to factor into their planning in terms of how they handle that. But there is also a sporting context in which you have to look at that. It's a player that they would really have wanted to have. That will change their thinking in some way. There's also the rumor around Luis Diaz leaving, that he has apparently told the club that he's ready to move.
I think the club are going to keep his dad but sell him, right?
I think his dad is very important.
Yeah.
Is a very important sort of mascot for Liverpool as a city. But Diaz apparently has said that he wants to go, and Bayern Munich are kind of engaged in this dance around Luis Diaz. So it may be that Liverpool have spent all this money already retooling the fullbacks, new backup goalkeeper, new backup to the backup goalkeeper, British record transfer potentially for Florian Wirtz, $70 million striker coming in up front. And they might still have one or even two more forwards to buy. And that is extraordinary.
It's amazing. I mean, by the way, when you say Liverpool get their work done early, they spot them early. Everton apparently spotted Beto back when he was working at Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's just the way he delivered the 12 legs in the bucket. But here's what I want to know quickly. As a Liverpool fan, not as a noted prominent journalist, I mean, this is an extreme makeover. This is the kind of stuff ripped from People magazine where they're like, what work has this actor or actress had done? And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Where are you between, oh my God, this is a risk, to, oh my God, I can't wait for the opening day. All of these fantasy football names in red. I am like childishly excited.
Yeah, it's hard not to be intrigued, I think, to think, right, what does this look like? How does this work? How quickly does it gel? I'm very much a glass half empty fan, Rog, you know that. So my immediate suspicion is that they won't gel at all and it will be terrible. But the other thing, and this is a little bit more downbeat than maybe the transfer market's meant to be, I think the thing that I took from Jota was it made me realize how attached I get to players. That I think as fans, you want to build a bond with players. And you feel as though they're part of your life. And that's, that outpouring of grief after Jota, I think showed us that in a really kind of open and full and frank form, that millions of people had connected to him. And Jota wasn't Liverpool's biggest star by any stretch of the imagination, but he was really kind of dear and special to people. And it makes me slightly uneasy with the way we kind of churn through players. Like there'll be a lot of Liverpool fans who quite rightly think that Darwin Núñez has had his chance. But I'm kind of invested in the Darwin Nunez journey. I don't necessarily want to see Darwin Nunez playing for somebody else because I feel as though, yeah, we've been on this journey with him, and he keeps missing shots. But maybe at some point there will be a point where he scores those goals, and also that human connection you have with players, I think, is really important, and we learned that from Jota. So there is part of me that is excited to see how Florian Wirtz and how Ekitike kind of what can they add to this team. But there's part of me that's sad because it means that some of those other players won't, that their journey comes to an end.
I'm with you, Ro. I'm with you on Darwin Nunez. Keep him Liverpool. Play him alongside, other strikers who can bring the best out of him. A front three of Darwin Nunez, Andy Carroll, and El Hadji Diouf. I think they all deserve more time in red. But you're right, Ro. I mean, this whole show is about player churn. And it is the churn is at almost NBA levels where the players are bouncing around team to team to team at just a kinetic pace, which as fans is almost hard to process. One note to cap Ekitike signing, which is expected to be announced by Liverpool imminently. His sale means Frankfurt outlaid, this is startling, 19.3 million combined dollars for Randall Kalamouani, sold to PSG for 111 million. Omar Marmoush, who went to Manchester City for $87 million, and then Hugo Ekitike to Liverpool for $93 million, which is, well, I just hope their sporting director's getting a raise.
Well, absolutely. And they have maybe taken the mantle from Borussia Dortmund as the kind of the forge of stars in Germany at the moment. But it illustrates another facet of it, I suppose, which is that I think in that scenario, it feels to me like Eintracht Frankfurt deserve rather more credit than Liverpool or PSG or Manchester City do. Like, it's very easy to go and sign the best player from a team, but the skill is surely in spotting them on their way up. And as a Liverpool fan, as opposed to Yorkshire's buzziest under 7 coach, the I enjoyed it when Liverpool were that team, when Liverpool took the gamble and it paid off. I thought that showcase skill and the rewards that you got from that right up until the Champions League final and the Premier League title in 2020, they felt like they meant a little bit more, not because it was Liverpool, but because it had been done with Andy Robertson from Hull and Gini Wijnaldum from Newcastle. It changes the equation a bit when you're the team who are the apex predator. For Frankfurt, it's sad that they can't watch all three of those players together. Maybe they could never have watched all three of those players together. But that money, close to $300 million, that should turn Eintracht Frankfurt into a genuine force in the Bundesliga, which is exactly what the player trading market should be used for. And yet, like you say, the amount of credit they deserve is enormous.
Frankfurt, I've got a young up and comer. I can get you for about 100 million. Dwight McNeil, remember the name, call me.